We're going to have a conversation today about mindset. And it may not seem like it at first because we're going to talk about language and words. And you may be thinking, okay, what does mindset have to do with language and words? And one of the things that I've learned over the many decades of being an entrepreneur is that words really do matter. And many times the vocabulary or language we're using in our marketing, in our communications, and even when we talk about ourselves, the words we're using don't mean what we think they mean sometimes. So today on Coaching for Creatives, we're going to have a conversation about words, the impact of words. Do they actually matter? How can we be more intentional, purposeful, and effective with the language that we are choosing? Welcome. I am Aura McKay. I'm the founder of Business of Creativity and the host of Coaching for Creatives, which is a weekly live broadcast that I do in the Facebook group at 2 p.m. Pacific every week. So please do join me live. If you're here on the replay, put it in the comments so that I know that you caught us. Today's conversation about words and words that matter. I see that there are a few of you that are here live. What do you think? Do you think that the words that we use have an impact? Do they impact how you feel or think? Let me share with you guys where this topic idea came from in the first place. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who I've known for about a decade and a half. And one of the things that I love about this person is that they can always find a solution. Like, it doesn't matter what challenge you put in front of them, what block you create, what barrier to possibility you put in front of them, they can always find a solution. And it's just always baffled me how they could do that. It's one of those traits I admire. And I had seen this meme floating around Facebook a while back. Maybe you've seen it. I'll try to find it and share it in the comments for you. But it was of this little kid, and it was a top-down photograph, and you saw the floor beneath the kid. And he was sitting there with kind of his elbows, and he was holding like a Game Boy or a video game or something. And his elbows and the video game were on the carpet, and the rest of his body and his snacks were on the linoleum and in the kitchen. And the meme was basically saying, problem solver. Like, how do you solve the problem? And the idea is that this kid figured out how to get through those blockages, those barriers, it's not possible. And that kid found a solution. And my good friend, is amazing about being solution oriented. And when you think about solution oriented, it kind of has a feeling of like hope, maybe possibility, maybe everything's going to be okay. But consider for a moment if that was labeled problem solver instead. So problem solver versus solution oriented. Problem solver versus solution oriented. Most of my life, I have believed that being a problem solver was a really good thing. It meant that I could solve problems. But when I started listening to the language of that, and I started looking at, well, if what we focus on the most is what shows up for us, and this is one of my core beliefs, that I believe that whatever you're focusing on, whatever message you are repeating for yourself, that's what you're priming your brain to be aware of and to pay attention out there. We can't pay attention to all the stuff that comes at us. So it's the repetition of what we keep telling our brains. This is important. Pay attention to this. This is important. So imagine if you are labeling yourself as a problem solver. What kinds of things are you paying attention to? What kinds of things are you priming your brain to be aware of, to allow to break through the noise and to alert you? You're always looking for problems. So And your value as a problem solver comes from there being problems. Guess what? If there's no problems, there's no job for you if you're the problem solver. So don't you think that being solution-oriented creates a different kind of feeling and focus and possibility out there? Now, I know some of you are going, oh my God, Aura, it's just semantics, but I encourage you to try it on, especially if you have a current label that you are using for yourself. If you have a current I am. So, if you're having an experience where you're saying, you know what, I am exhausted, bored, frustrated, and fatigued. That may in fact be the truth, and it's totally great to declare it and to be aware of it, but consider what is the language that you're using to prime your brain to pay attention to bored, lonely, and fatigued. How could you re-language that to pay attention to something else? So even if you say, I'm ready for change, variety, and excitement in my life. Do you see how those two things are really different in terms of their language? If you say, I am bored and I am frustrated and I am lonely and I'm exhausted versus I am ready for excitement, I am ready for diversity and change, I am ready for something new in my life. So give yourself the opportunity to be self-observant and check in with yourself. How are you speaking about your skills, about yourself, about who you are these days? And what kind of an impact is the repetition of that messaging potentially having on you? Here's the deal, gang. Our feelings and beliefs are what end up motivating us to either take an action or not take an action. And the actions are what get the results. So if you're looking around in your life and business right now and you're not seeing the kinds of results that you want for yourself, go backwards and look at the actions you took or didn't take, and then look at what were the beliefs that you were holding on to. How were you priming your brain? What language are you using? And how is that impacting or serving you? We absolutely know for sure, there's empirical evidence, there's statistics on the words you use in your marketing will connect or not connect with your ideal client. The words you use in your self-talk will either connect or not connect with your ideal vision for your business. So take the opportunity, think about some of your languaging there. And gang, if you are struggling, if you're not sure how to do it, I have a fabulous resource for you. I will put it in the comments and in the links for you. I do have a progressive statements workbook that I'll give you to help you look at some of your languaging and how you are priming your brain through repetition. Thank you so much for joining me live. I still see that there are a couple of people here on the line. If you guys have any questions or thoughts, if you're noticing any specific phrases that you are seeing come up again and again. I saw something on somebody else's timeline earlier where they said their mother was saying, we have to stop saying unprecedented times. Like it's been a year of precedenting. How much more precedenting do we need? So starting to think like, when are we going to get to the new normal? Do we really need to be calling this the new normal now? Can it just be normal? At what point does the languaging we have maybe keep us stuck in a particular way of thinking or a particular constraint and not make visible to us possibility and opportunities? How can you adjust your language to start priming the brain to look for those possibilities and opportunities? So something to think about this week as you move through the week. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're watching this now, come back to me. Let me know at the end of the week whether or not this made any difference to you as you move forward in your day-to-day. Thank you again. My name is Aura McKay. I'm the founder of Business of Creativity, and I look forward to seeing you back here next week on Coaching for Creatives. Have a fantastic week, gang.